Oh, hey there. So I'm talking about the 5 most influential people in my own life. Okay. The first one is my mother. The second one is Damien Patino. The third one is Phyllis Mason. The fourth one is Gary Hutchison, my pastor. Now, let me tell you a few reasons why I have a deep, deep respect for Gary and why I love him and I want to be like him. Okay. First of all, I used to be a youth pastor a long time ago when I was 19, 20 years old, and now I'm 52 years old. So it's been a long time. And when I was a youth pastor, him and his church, which is now my church, had feeding frenzies across the street from Arlington High. And so what they would do is they'd say, you can come over here at lunchtime. We will give you a free lunch. We're going to preach the gospel to you. If you need something, if you need prayer, we're here for you. And they put their money where their mouth was. And they said, do you want to be a part of this? I'm like, yes, I want to be a part of this. Anything that can help further the kingdom of God, anything where I can make a difference, anything where I can serve people and love people, I want to be a part of that. And so I was, and they were always grateful that I was there, and I was always grateful to be a part of it. Now, some years passed, I moved away, and I came back, and I was going through a very hard time. In 2002, I was going through a very, very hard time. I got divorced for the first time, actually that week, the first week that I started going to this church, okay? But also several other things happened. I was $675,000 in debt. I had $1,000 worth of bills every single day of my life that I just had to keep working just to keep my head above water. It was very difficult. I watched somebody almost die in front of me. They care flighted her out of there. She was in a coma for 3 months. She was a friend of mine. I was the first one on the scene for the wreck. A lot of bad things happened. 9/11 happened. I was in a bad, bad way. Okay. I lost my children, to the divorce, and I lost my family. I lost everything. And my whole world was upside down. And 3 different people in 3 different places that week said to me, you ought to go to Grace Community Church this week. And the first one, I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And the second one was like, you ought to go to Grace. And I thought, that's the second person that's told me that. Maybe I'll consider it. And the third one said it. I'm like, I got the message. I got the message, God. So I showed up, I walked in, and Gary said, we're going to spend the next 6 weeks talking about Psalm 23. Now, I know the Bible, and I know that Psalm 23 is about that big, okay? And I thought, 6 weeks on this, that's exhausting. But the verse that he was at when I got there was, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And then he started to explain that the valley of the shadow of death is a real place, okay? That is a real place in Israel that is so narrow and so deep that sunlight never hits the bottom of it. And so they call it the valley of the shadow of death. And he said, this valley of the shadow of death that you're going through is something you're going through. It is not your final resting place. You don't set up an address here. You don't get mail here. You're going through this to get to higher ground. And I was like, I sure hope so, because my heart is heavy. It's hard to lift my face up to fake a smile. It feels like there's been a dumpster laid on my chest. And then he went on and on through this whole the Psalm 23, and every step of the way I was like, I need to hear this. This is a message from God. I need to hear this so much. And week after week, for 20 plus years, every time I come, I'm like, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Like, I feel like you're reading my diary, and you allow God to speak through you. And not only that, but you put your money where your mouth is, and you've built a church, helped to build a church that is fearless, that sends missionaries and Bible translators out to the entire world, and we lovingly and gratefully support them. And we send people out all the time, and I couldn't be more blessed to be a part of that mission. But also, we treat our hometown like just as much of a mission field as any other place, and I love that. I love the fact that there's a no gossip policy. We don't really talk about it. I've never heard anybody say, hey, we got a no gossip policy. But I've also never heard anybody have to say, hey, we have a no gossip policy. And I love that, because we don't need to be talking trash about each other. We need to be lifting each other up. We need to be praying for each other. We need to be helping each other. And through Gary's teaching, through Gary's leadership, through Gary's love, I'd like to think that I've become a better person. And so, Gary, I just want to say thank you publicly to you, and you've helped me to be the man that I am today. So thank you.